Welcome to the world's fastest growing podcast that interviews random Todds and asks them unpredictable questions in a series of wacky segments.
Here at the Toddcast, we believe every Todd has a story, and we want to hear it. All right, welcome in everybody to another episode of the Toddcast. Today, we've had a sleep coach, we've had a glitter coach, and now we have a life coach. Todd MacPherson is joining us today from Canada, I believe, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we found him on Instagram at Todd W. MacPherson. And yeah, welcome in, Todd. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here.
Well, with that, we're just going to jump right into the first segment.
Once Upon a Todd.
All right, so this segment is called Once Upon a Todd. So this is kind of a time for you to tell the listeners who are you and what do you want them to know about you. I'll just kind of give you the floor here, Todd.
Well, perfect. Thanks, guys, for the invite. And, kind of start with the life, family stuff. Married for, it's coming up on 29 years.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats.
So, my wife and I have 4 adult kids. And so that used to keep us very busy. Now they're largely out. Youngest one's living at home, and that's it. And and I live in Saskatchewan here in Canada, so in the Saskatoon area. And I know that some of the listeners that are from the South may not be able to pronounce that word. It seems to trip people up, but it's one of the smallest provinces in population, but with the longest name. So that's where I live, and farmland, and in the central part of Canada here. So I've been in nonprofit leadership for over 28 years, and I absolutely love it. Love leadership. Love being engaged in charities and nonprofits that are making a difference. It just kind of aligns with what I'm doing. And then at the beginning of this year, I decided to start a podcast. I had been doing some life coaching, as you alluded to, and realized that what I really enjoyed doing in that end was actually working with new leaders, helping them develop that skill. And in the nonprofit sector, a lot more leaders end up kind of just falling into leadership or being kind of promoted or pushed into leadership. And many of them do, I think, feel like they were pushed into leadership kind of off a ledge, and they just don't have ever developed that skill set that they really need to thrive and don't reach their full potential. So that's part of what I love doing. And on top of that, I am work full-time as a senior leader for a national health charity here in Canada, which keeps me just crazy busy right now, as you can imagine. So, that's kind of it. I'm a certified coach and leadership trainer with the John Maxwell organization, and I think that's kind of everything. My podcast is going to mention you can find it at toddmacpherson.ca, or quicker out there is, if you can't remember, NNL podcast for New Nonprofit Leader Podcast.com.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
So what made you start the podcast?
I had experimented with a podcast once before and had been doing some coaching and that kind of stuff, and decided to kind of tuck that away. But I like that format of just engaging with people and doing some teaching and that kind of stuff. And just was a good expression. And it also gave me the ability to kind of just do it in my space and my time when my life's busy as well.
But yeah, I think the podcast, I mean, you can reach a lot more people that way. You don't really have that one-on-one interaction like you normally would, probably with some of the other clients you work with for life coaching. But yeah, that's cool. You started that.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah. So you talked about the people, I guess, being almost forced into leadership positions without having the actual qualities of it. How do you approach that? Is that something people can learn, or is that something that's just, or do you just get it to dig it out of them? Yeah.
I'm absolutely 100% convinced that leadership is a skill. And yes, there's certain natural talents that probably improve your leadership in certain ways.
Right.
But they also could probably be a detriment in other parts of your leadership, right? Because most of our strengths are also weaknesses in certain ways as well, if we
Yes.
aren't conscious of that. But I really think it's a skill set. And typically a person gets moved into leadership because there is some talent there. There is some skill. There is some things they've picked up. And for me, when I started in leadership, it was mostly unconscious that I just learned from the leaders around me.
Yeah.
And so I thought leadership was a position, and boy, did I learn quickly. That didn't last long.
Yeah.
People didn't follow me just because I had the title.
Right.
They said, "No, that's nice. All right, he was the new young kid. Okay, we'll tell you what we do here." And it's like, oh, well, this isn't quite the way I thought. And you realize that leadership is a lot different than that.
Yeah, yeah, and see, I can relate to that a lot because I grew up. I was in leadership roles here and there. And I was always like, I don't feel like I have the qualities. But then when you think about it, you get put in those positions for a reason. Mm-hmm. So you may not see the qualities that like you actually have, but other people can see it. And they that's why they put you in those kind of positions.
Yeah. And they kind of promote you, but we do have a tendency to promote to people's level of incompetence, not because they're incompetent, but we promote them, but we don't often coach them, train them, and help them. Just say, this is an intentional set of skills you're going to have to develop. And
yes, they give you the position with no tools to kind of build around it. So it's
it is a tendency, and I think we in the nonprofit sector are probably some of the worst at it at times because we usually work so limited budget, limited tight capacities, that kind of a thing. So
well, you've got to adapt to what is around you as well. But that's interesting. How long have you been doing it again?
The coaching stuff for probably, I don't know, 7-8 years now, maybe more. But I've kind of been doing some leadership training off and on for years. Like I first started working with high school students, and a lot of it became some leadership development there. And then it just always stayed one of my passions. So
that's awesome. Actually, thinking back on it, like having that kind of exposure in high school would be great. To have those kind of introductory courses before you're thrown out into the quote unquote real world.
Yeah, I think it's better to learn good habits at the beginning than have to unlearn our bad habits. And that's of course being an adult. Now, when I look back at all the bad habits that it's taken so much more time to unlearn, right? So,
exactly.
What would you say is like a very common bad habit you see when you're working with people?
When it comes to leadership, I think two things. I think leaders often underestimate how many times they have to communicate something before people really hear them.
Yeah.
We think we said it once. We thought we were quite articulate. And, first off, chances are we're not as articulate as we thought we were. But the second thing is that's usually nowhere near enough. One of my mentors when I was early in leadership used to say that you got to say key things to your people enough times to the point when you're sick of it. And by the time you as a leader are getting sick, they might be hearing it enough. And really you start to look for them to personalize those key things back. I think that's a big habit that we tend to fall into is because it's easier to communicate once or twice and assume everybody's got it. Yeah.
Cool. So communicate.
That is one of the big parts of leadership. It is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. I always see that. And I've learned that in some of my roles, like in a manufacturing environment, like you go out there and you tell all these guys, all right, here's what we got to do. And you talk to all of them, but like you just have to you have to follow up, make sure until they're saying it back to you almost.
Yeah.
And that's good. So what I guess that's a bad habit you see in a way to turn it around. Is there a good habit that a lot of people have and they don't really know how to use it, or is there a common good habit that people have?
I think kind of continuing on with the communication, the other half of it is listening. And there's a phrase that I said often, and it's I can't remember where I heard the concept first, but it's for most people, listening feels so much like love they can't tell the difference. And it's so true that even in leadership, when you're listening, really listening to people, and I think most of us actually can listen well when we want to, for the people that are really important, or for the things that are important to us, right? If you got a little kid, they can listen to the things. They don't forget that there was a reference to ice cream some point in time earlier in the day. Never miss that one. Never miss it, right?
Same with my fiance.
Right. So we listen for the things that are really important to us, and I think the key is making the people you're leading important to you, and kind of putting that space, and then keeping that aspect of listening, not so much to respond, because I'm sure that's not actually really listening, but listening to discover, kind of be curious with your listening to see what you might learn and what you might discover about them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's very solid advice, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely a bad habit I find myself getting into, because I'm always like, someone starts talking, and I, like, at the very beginning, I hear kind of what they're saying, and I'm like, all right, now how am I going to respond? And it's just like,
you hear maybe 40% of what they're actually saying, because the other 60% is you formulating a response rather than actually taking it in, digesting it, and having a better thought out response to it. So
and I mean, I've been working with people in this for years, and yet I'll tell you, if you were talking to my wife, she wouldn't necessarily always say I'm a good listener, because I do the same thing. I listen to respond instead of, and it's just a place that we got to constantly remind ourselves to get back into.
It's kind of catching yourself in those moments when you're doing it. And is that probably the best way to just practice that as much as you can?
Where I write, if I realize I've been struggling with it, I usually take notes in just a journal, just as I'm going through the meeting, keep myself moving. And I'll write listen across nice and big. No one can see that, but it's just a reminder to me right at the top of the page. Listen. And as I go, right. I'm here to listen first, talk second, which as a senior leader gets hard to do because you've got thoughts on everything.
Yes.
Wow. That's good. That's good actionable advice right there. Well,
is it about time for more advice?
It is. Let's jump into the next segment here.
What if Todd was one of us?
Yes. What if Todd was one of us? We want to kind of throw a scenario out, kind of a common thing. It may be something we've went through, something society goes through, something that's kind of, no one knows the correct answer to it. But we're going to ask you, Todd.
Okay.
What would Todd do?
What would Todd do? So in this situation, if you have to blow your nose at the dinner table, is it okay to do it right there as long as you have a tissue? Or do you have to get up and leave? Does it depend on who you're sitting with?
I think it depends who you're sitting with and how impressed you want to be of them, or how comfortable you are, right? 29 years of marriage, I'm blowing my nose at the dinner table with my wife.
What would you do on the first date?
First date, I would have definitely tried to slip away and be, because you're trying to make your best impression on that date. Come on. You haven't locked everything down yet.
Exactly. It's such a awkward situation, because and it's the same with like sneezing. Sneezing just kind of comes out of nowhere, but it feels inappropriate to do at a dinner table.
Yeah, and the blowing the nose thing, you never know quite. Is this going to be nice, polite kind of little, or is this going to be something horrendous that brings the restaurant to a...
People are losing appetites and leaving. And check, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, we have this facial hair too.
Yeah.
So you never know.
You never know what the appearance is afterwards.
You can't trust yourself too much. In public,
it's a little bit more important to do it as discreetly as possible.
Well, down here, we're still wearing the mask and stuff. So whatever happens under the mask, no one sees.
Oh my!
Oh, that's disturbing.
Oh my!
You never know.
God.
That's what they say.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know who they are, but they say it. No, but I mean, it's an awkward situation that you never feel like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. I've got a question.
You do?
What is the deal with handkerchiefs? Have you ever owned one? I don't get them.
I think I had one years ago for like a suit. It kind of came complimentary, and you're like, would you use this and then
Right.
put it back and it's going to be soggy? Yeah.
Yeah, I've never understood them. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
people
had
use
like
them for like
relatives
10
that
years.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
No,
oh,
thank you. And the whole thing of putting your initials on something that you're blowing your nose into, I don't see the...
Gotta have that monogrammed handkerchief.
Exactly.
Catch my nose drippings.
We should make Toddcast handkerchiefs.
There we go.
Be on the lookout.
Don't use them though. That's gross.
Please don't use them.
Don't use it. It's gross.
Don't blow your nose on Todd.
We just lost some listeners right there. Oh yeah. So you get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I that's my usual go-to move. I never know what to do. I'm not comfortable around anybody right now, so I'll be in there for 15 minutes if I need to, and then I come out and I feel better instead of doing it right then, and then you're constantly self-conscious about it. You're like, oh, what's going on down there?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was,
Yeah. So, wow. Well, I think we've got the answer of what Todd would have done there.
Yes.
So, yeah,
terrific advice.
Don't use handkerchiefs. Get in that restroom.
Yeah.
All right. On to the next segment.
Quarantine. More like Borantine.
Quarantine. Yeah. How
Canada.
Canada. How's quarantine going up there, and what's changed with your life? I see you got a home office now, so
yeah. Our whole organization's working from home, and we have been and will continue to for the rest of this year. Things are starting to open up again, and we are reasonably open, but a lot of restrictions. But we're already seeing kind of the pop-ups and problem spots and little things, and it just reminds you that we got a road ahead of us for a while. So, but excuse me. For myself, it's been work has just been crazy. The impact on health charities, at least here in Canada, has been huge. We've seen a massive reduction in dollars. So unfortunately, I think pretty much all of them, we've had to do a significant reduction in staff. So that's just meant that those of us that have remained are far busier. And then on top of it, we work with a typically older generation population. So most of our content and work was in support groups in person or activities in person and over the phone, and everything's had to move virtual, which has not been an easy move for some of them. And so it's really requiring us to kind of rethink and retool all that we do. So for me, it's been long days. I kind of chuckled there in April because my other son was still living at home back then, and they had all got laid off. Youngest one was in university. They got sent home. Wife got temporarily sent home. So there was three of them at home, and my boys, of course, being that age, they're crawling out of bed around noonish or something like that. And I'm already on my 6 hour of work easy because I'm 2 hours difference from the Eastern time zone. And so my team and leadership, the senior leadership team, we're meeting daily. And it's like, they're going, oh, right, 9 a.m. That's pretty early. 7 a.m. for me. Yep, that's okay. That's all right. I'm good. But by noon, they're going, figure out what I'm doing today. Are you kidding? My day's almost well over half over. But yeah, it's been long stretches, but it's been good.
Yeah.
Have you picked up any new hobbies or anything throughout quarantine?
No, I've been just way too busy. Like I said, I started that podcast at the beginning of January. So my plan was to do that, start to engage in more promotion, and I had some tentative guests lined up and that. And then when this hit, I was just working 10-hour days, 12-hour days sometimes, and that. And so it's just, my commitment was, listen, if I can keep turning out a podcast every week, that's enough for right now until I can find my pace, get my feet under me. I've got a few people already that have said, hey, I'm willing to do that once this calms down a bit. So I'm looking forward to that. And a few senior leaders of different charities that I can interview. But every now and then I should do that, and it's like, when am I ever going to
Yeah.
get that into my schedule right now?
I remember you brought up the farmland out there. I was hoping you got into farming while everything kind of settled down.
Yeah,
but
just as a side.
yeah, you know,
side
just
hobby.
yeah, you got to life coach by day, farmer by
I
night.
picked up the $1 million combine just because I thought I would.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
not?
you know.
Go big or go home.
Exactly. That's a normal hobby that people pick up. Just
Right,
intense
exactly.
farm labor.
Exactly.
People love that, I hear.
Mm.
The kids are into.
All right, Brad, do you know what time it is?
Oh, I think I know what time it is.
It's time to prod Todd.
Oh my, that one never gets old, does it? All right, so this is a segment where we basically just ask you a series of completely random questions and answer as you please. So first one here: Do fish have faces?
I think so. That's an odd question, but I would. Well, you kind of say a fish has a head, but I would say
This is my thought.
Yeah, a mouth, eyes at least. So yes, they have a face. I'd argue.
I feel like fish are just floating heads, basically.
yeah, with a head to a tail.
Like, right. And like, do you have to have a head to have a face? Like, what's the requirements to be a face? Like, classified as a face?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we as people tend to recognize faces even when they're not there in things. So I think we're always trying to look for what looks like us. So, but I think they have a face. They got eyes. They've got a mouth.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. When I look at a fish, I would say that's the fish face right there.
Yeah.
Right. And see,
Even
like,
they're called fish heads, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish head. But like, if you, because you can cut, excuse me, but you can cut the head of a fish off, but it doesn't seem like it's actually its head. It's just, it's part of its body.
Yeah, they don't have that.
It's just one giant. It's just one body.
Part of
Yeah. Like we have a neck. If fish had necks, I think they would look really odd, of course. But I think you would be able to distinguish. Okay, this is the fish's face.
If it had,
and this is its body.
Yeah, if it had a neck, you'd throw that thing back. You just that's coming off the hook. We're not.
I don't get this out of here.
What that was. Let's go home.
Because like I can picture you like if you have a fish, I'm holding an imaginary fish, and it had a body, it would just like if you put it on a human's body, you put an actual fish on a human body, but took the head off, it would look normal. Like a fish's entire body is just a head.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't know how to explain it. This question is I'm very passionate about it. If you haven't noticed,
gee, well, my goodness,
yeah, it's one of my fishing faces.
Throwing his whole rod in if he sees a neck on a fish.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm out.
All right. Well, kind of a situational question here. You're in a fight right now. Pick 3 things you can see right around you to defend yourself. What are they, and how would you use them?
Wow. Well, in the TV show, somebody always uses like a lamp or a big thing. I've got this lamp on my desk. It's a touch lamp type thing, but it's got a big, heavy metal base. So I think that would, that might help. Probably just, I've got one of those sturdy water bottles. I'd probably grab that because it's right here. If nothing else, throw it at the person and get yourself. I don't know. What else would I use? I don't really. I'm not well equipped. You know what? In the drawer over there, I think I have a utility knife. So
there you go.
Yeah,
Bear Grylls over here.
True weapon. Yeah, I like the water bottle. Make sure it's full of water though. And
it's got some weight, so you can actually hit the person with.
Hit the person. Go get the lamp and pull out the utility knife.
There we go.
I think you're good. You're gonna win this fight.
Who am I fighting though?
I don't know. Lou Ferrigno.
Okay.
I don't know why that name popped out, but you were fighting the Hulk. I'm sorry, but unfortunately,
no matter what I do.
Luck of the draw. I knew 3 names. One of them, first one was Lou Ferrigno. I've never said that name before in my life, but that is who you're fighting, and I'm sorry.
Now. Okay.
All right.
Well, Todd, are we best friends?
You and me?
Yeah.
Well, we've met. So
I'm getting rejected, Brad.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He's trying to let you down easy.
I let you down easy. This is getting awkward.
No.
So after 25 minutes, we're not best friends.
Not best friend.
I'm not your best friend either.
I'm sorry. Well, almost.
Oh, okay. So like I'm
Brad's
almost.
almost there. I'm not. I get it.
Understandable. You
Fair
made
enough.
a very very good choice.
Yeah.
We'll have to follow up on that question towards the end of the episode. What ocean seems the friendliest?
Ocean seems the friendliest.
God, they all be so tragic.
Yeah. Most of them hear from them is not good, but the Atlantic, I think, seems to me.
Oh, A-Dog.
Yeah, I'd pick that one. I know the Pacific is bigger and a little harsher, it seems, than.
Yeah, it seems like a bully, kind of.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be too nice.
Yeah.
Like Atlantic's like, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Like,
Cool,
it has some-
how you doing?
Yeah. It's not causing like crazy tidal waves and stuff.
Yeah.
It's that's a logical answer.
Yeah. And oceans are made of water, and water comes from clouds. So, Todd, tell me what a cloud feels like.
What a cloud is like. I've ever been in
A
I've
cloud.
been in the mountains where the clouds are kind of settled in.
Ooh.
How'd that
And
feel?
actually, just cold, but of course you're up there, it's just cold. Right?
Mm.
So it doesn't feel wet. It doesn't feel like I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're anything other than it's just colder.
Yeah.
Quieter.
always hoping-
though. They kind of
Yeah.
dampen the sound around you. So it's kind of a little bit cool, but a little bit eerie.
I've always wanted to feel like a blanket or something.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? Nice cozy.
Yeah. Look at all the cartoons, like people just lay down and relax in the clouds.
No, didn't the cartoons let us down?
They did.
So many
In
things.
many a way.
Yeah, I've compared them to like cotton balls, I would say.
Mhm.
Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to experience that one day.
Yeah.
How long would you, if you were to be in a cloud, what's like the longest period of time you could stand to be in a cloud, do you think?
You know, I'm a prairie boy, so I love the big open sky. The clouds are always way up there, kind of thing you can see. So I don't know. I think if I'm not distracted doing something, I think after an hour, I'm starting to feel a little weirded out by the fact that I don't have the sense of my horizons and, distance.
It would be an odd experience because you're just kind of, I mean, who else has done that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And who knows? It may be dangerous to be in a cloud for a long time.
I don't know. We
I
took
don't know
we
what goes
took a
on. There's like
drive through the Rockies when the kids were younger, wanted to show them the mountains. We were in clouds the whole time. I don't think they saw any of them other than we stopped at this one gas station and we were just kind of stretching legs. And then all of a sudden this little pocket opened right across the road and there was a mountain top and that, and it's right there. I mean, it's not as close quite as it looks, but it was right there.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later it closed up. And it was so disappointing because we actually had to pull over when we were actually finally way back out of the mountains, pull over and let the kids look at them from a distance. Because it's like we drove through them and all you saw was clouds.
Man.
And the ditch and a highway. It was nothing special.
I don't know, Michael. You seem to you asked almost a cloud expert. You've had a lot of cloud encounters.
Twice.
More than the layperson, I would say.
I'm somehow going to keep this question going because I have a question, because you asked how long he's been in a cloud. Like, people say they're in cloud 9. What's cloud 9? Like, what about clouds 1 through 8? Well, like, I don't understand where that phrase comes from.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Yeah,
I've said it so many times, but I have no idea why it means what it means.
I have no idea either where it came from or what it's connected to. And is Cloud 1 just okay, or is it just miserable? Like, I don't know. Where's the happy medium?
Like a scale of 1 to 9?
Yeah, 1 to 9.
Usually 1 to 10, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe no one's ever like been so happy they can go on Cloud 10.
Maybe that's it.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if the rules of numbering really apply to clouds.
Never numbered my clouds, so
someone did.
You really got me going there. Another, I guess, nose-related question. Would you rather sneeze every time you blinked or cry every time you pick something up?
Let's go with the cry option because I think that's a little bit more controllable. I can choose to be more strategic about what I pick up then.
So what are some things you pick up often that you would look weird crying
about? You know what? Come to think of it, I think I might have to change my answer. Considering how many times I pick up my phone, like you guys, how many often you're like every time? It's like, oh my God.
It's like he's just weeping for hours.
I would have to get some kind of a holder that just sits around my neck so my phone's just permanently in front of me.
You got some loopholes going on.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so maybe I have to go back to the sneezing, crying.
I mean, you wake up every day with a good cry. Pick up your shoes to put them on. Pick up your keys to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think you got to go back to the sneezing. It's going to be the option. Yeah.
I mean, just imagine going grocery shopping and every time you pick something up off the shelf, you're just
such an emotional experience.
Right, I'm so upset right now.
There's a person walking around with a bucket and a mop just to clean up your tears.
So, am I using my Toddcast handkerchief during this time?
Oh yes, you can use it for tears. Yeah. It is tear approved. It's waterproof, actually. They just wick right off. It's made from duck feathers.
Hopefully, Pete is not listening. All right.
Fake ducks.
If Todd, if you had to make an original candle scent, what would it be and why?
Well, I think someone's probably already done this, but it would have to be something related to bacon.
Oh, yes.
Because when you smell bacon, everything just seems better. Hey, maybe bacon is related to Cloud 9.
Maybe.
Because I get close to that just at the smell of bacon.
Oh, you get to like Cloud 7.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I don't know what the number is, but it's already, hey.
It feels Cloud 7 to me. So
it's hard to quantify. Yeah. I actually, I made candles actually a while ago, and I got a fragrance oil sampler pack.
Yeah,
and they had bacon in there, and I'm telling you do not want that candle.
Oh, really?
That specific fragrance of bacon, and it also came with another one that smelled like beef, and I was like, "Who wants beef?" Yeah, beef does not have a good scent.
No, yeah, beef on its own. No, it doesn't.
It smells like beef in here. If someone walked in your house and was like, "Oh, it smells like beef in here," like you are like, "Oh,
that's insulting. That's not a good sign. No.
Yeah, so beefy.
I paid for it to smell like that in here with this.
Yeah, I paid for it to smell like beef.
It was intentional. I don't know why. So bacon. Yeah,
beef.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is. What about you, Michael? What would you do? Oh,
yeah, what was that? Good bacon. Not whatever you had there.
Yeah, bacon, not beef, is what Todd's answer was. Yes, just to clarify, make sure. Yeah. So, Brad, you asked me what would I make. Original is hard though. Like, I mean, they got.
I mean, you can morph to. You can pick like 3 or 4 scents and like.
Man, I know, but like I love like I'm trying to think like my scents. I love basil and I love lemon, but that's 100% already made. So
yeah.
Like anything like spice or natural related.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Cloud scented candle. Cloud 9 scented.
Cloud 9 scented.
Yeah, I would do like a lemon basil, but just call it Cloud 9, so no one knows what it is. Yeah, it's like I created it, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here.
So basically, you're just renaming candles at this point.
Exactly.
You haven't even created an original one. You just renamed some that already exists.
Don't reinvent the wheel, Brad.
You go in Yankee Candle and just rename them all. Well,
Yeah. What would you make?
me?
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be like bearded dragon scented at least. Like I bet there's not they would probably smell horrible, but they would be original.
Yeah, probably would. That would probably be original.
Yeah,
That's a
so
thing against animals.
it's not. I'm not burning a bearded dragon. I can't afford a bearded dragon, so I want the scent.
The scent of bearded dragon.
Yeah, bearded dragon market it's crazy right now. You can't afford one. That's what I've heard. That's what Forbes said.
Yeah, that's what-
Can't even respond to that.
Yeah, you don't need to. Well, we're going to let Todd respond to this. How many showers will you use the same towel for?
Ooh.
Or baths, if you're a bath guy.
Showers is, but yeah, usually actually for 4 or 5. But here in Saskatchewan, things are so dry, it dries out fast. So it's not like a damp towel or anything. So
that's good.
Yeah.
4 to 5. I like
What's your opinion, Michael? You seem like a 2 or 3 week guy.
No. No, funny enough, when I was growing up, I used a new towel every day. I don't know why. That's just what we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I definitely don't do that because that's a lot of towels one to own. And then I think I'm like I'm with Todd on this one. I'm like, I think we do about a 4 to 5 cycle in the house.
Yeah, I'm about 5 days, and then I start questioning myself, and I'm like, let me use a different one.
Yeah.
I have to I only have one towel in my house, so I have to keep rewashing it. So
Oh my gosh.
it's hard. I'm saving up for that bearded dragon. So
Wash day. No showering.
Right, no showering. Got to get that bearded dragon on lock first.
Oh gosh. So last question. This one comes in from a member of the Todd Squad at
Todd Squad.
Clutter. Do you walk or stand on an escalator?
Most of the time I walk.
Mm.
Yep.
I feel like that tells you something about a person, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. If I'm traveling with luggage, before all of this, I used to be in Toronto regularly with work. Then with the luggage, I stand because it's just kind of trailing behind you. So and in Toronto, or probably like any of the big cities, you either got to be really committed to the walking fast on the escalator, or you got to stand still on the other side because someone's just going to walk over you.
Yeah, they need to put lanes on those. They need to put lane lines on it.
Dash line down the center of the escalator. Yeah.
It would make society
passing.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be so efficient, but no, everything's so willy-nilly. At least society has made rules about it, and we seem to follow them. We don't. Society ignores some rules, but decides to follow the escalator rule. Which
you know those like walking zones in the airport, like they're basically just flat escalators.
Standing walkways, basically.
Yeah. Some people don't know how to use those, or it bothers me. I'm just like open up a diary right now and just complaining. But yeah, like when people just stand on that, I'm like, this is like my way to get there faster.
Yes, that's the whole point of this.
Speed boost.
This is some speed boost through Mario something or whatever we used to play. Right? Yeah, this is my chance to not run, but go the speed of running.
Exactly. But like, what's the point of them having like a 25-yard strip of it? Like, why don't you just have it throughout the entire airport?
That's it with some kind of exit.
It's like you have to earn the perk to get to it. You have to beat these levels, and then you get the speed boost.
Yeah,
but like you should walk right in the door and be on one of those.
Yeah, you just funnel you right through.
And then they have like it's basically a street. Like there's detours that take you to each lane. Like that's how you get through security. Like
it'd be like an Amazon warehouse. It just automatically funnels you, barcodes you when you come in, and it just funnels you through.
Now, Jeff Bezos needs to look in that airline
there we
efficiency.
Like you walk in the airport, and it's like the Jetsons. It kicks you right into like the little spaceship
there
and takes you straight there.
There we go. Now we're talking.
2020. What are we doing?
I mean, come on. I thought we'd be here by now.
We're trying to go to Mars.
Hover things and all of that. How they disappointed us.
Yeah. We have issues on this planet that need fixed. Like airports.
Like airports.
Airports and bearded dragon prices. All right, Michael.
Are we done prodding?
I think he deserves to be unprodded.
All right, on to the next segment.
That's odd. Todd.
All right. Congrats on making it through that. And now it is time for That's Odd, Todd. This is where, do you have 2 truths and 1 lie? Do you have that
I do.
prepared?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, when you're ready, go ahead and spout them off. Me and Michael will try to figure out which one's the
Perfect.
lie.
So I went with a kind of a fears theme, So I'm going to give you 3 fears and claim I suffer from all of them. And of course, one of them's a lie. So there's glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking.
Okay.
Acrophobia, the fear of heights. And ophidiophobia, the fear of snakes, which I hope I pronounced that last one right.
I think you did.
I can either confirm or deny. All right, so we have public speaking, heights, and spiders.
Oh, snakes.
Yeah.
Snakes.
Yeah, snakes. Come on, man.
They're just, I don't know.
Yeah. When you said acrophobia, I was like, wait, he's afraid of acrobats?
Yes. Some of them
They're
are
terrifying.
Messy, right? They're terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes. Random acrobats.
Snakes, public speaking.
Yeah.
And one of these is a lie.
One of those is a lie.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the public speaking could be real, even though it's something he's got to do all the time. I feel like
it's a fear that he's overcame.
Yeah,
but it still exists.
Yeah, you can still have it like chilling there.
Yeah.
Okay, so heights is one that I thought I was like, I don't care about heights, and then now I get like on a Ferris wheel or something. I'm like, oh my god, we're not even like 10 feet off the ground. I'm just like, or I go rock climbing. I 3 feet off the ground. I'm like shaking.
You're talking about this extreme stuff. I go stand on my patio. It's on like the second story of my apartment complex, and I can barely move, frozen in fear.
Yeah, so I mean I can believe that because
I feel like everyone is afraid of heights to some extent, except for that guy that jumped from space. Did you see that?
Yeah,
yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
I remember watching that. It was like sponsored by Red Bull or something.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, it was intense. It made me very queasy watching it.
Yeah.
So sure if Todd would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. He might.
Snakes.
Slithery snakes. You know what? I've talked myself into it. The first 2 are very common. Some people are snake people. Todd, you're a snake person. I think that you are lying about your fear of snakes.
Okay. And then I am going to say,
acrobats.
Even though we're not best friends, I think we share the fear of heights. So I'm going to lock in heights, and Brad's got snakes.
I do not have snakes with me. I locked in snakes. Let's get a bushel of snakes over here. So many reptiles
right now.
Yeah.
All right. So Todd,
you're actually both wrong.
Ooh, a first.
Fear of public speaking. That is not a fear of mine. When I was little, like when I was in school, I was terribly nervous around anything with people, so I got really anxious.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. So fear of snakes is just, I'm okay with them, but if somebody goes, hey, do you want to touch this? Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good here.
No, thanks.
But the fear of heights, that one, one. And when I was little, I was afraid of heights. So I jumped off something really high. Well, not little, but preteen kind of thing. Jumped off something really high all I did was hurt my ankle real bad. Could hardly walk home and didn't cure myself of the fear of heights at all.
Right.
I think it's just getting worse the older I'm getting. So I can watch.
It's terrible.
Yeah, like you talked about the guy diving, like jumping out of that, like really.
Yeah.
I can watch somebody at a heights thing, and I'm like going, I'm watching a show, but I am starting to feel queasy.
Yes.
Please, can we get past the scene? I'm getting that anxious feeling like I'm about to fall.
Yeah.
And I'm
like watching that
on my couch.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Like I could conjure up these like images in my head and I'll get like queasy about it. I'm like, thinking of standing at the open door of an airplane to skydive makes me just cringe.
Yeah, no. But like those videos and pictures that people post, like I don't know what building it is, but it's like glass extends out.
It's the worst.
I know it's super safe, but no.
Yeah, I don't think I can do those glass things. When I was younger, my one brother is very, very little. If he has fear of heights, it doesn't seem to affect him at all. So we went to the Calgary Tower, and they have that glass that's on an angle you can lean against. If you want. Not me. No. And he's like just flat against it. This is so cool. And I'm holding onto the edge wall and looking over and going, oh, like just that horrible feeling. Like,
yeah, just you hearing this right now.
Describing it, I feel a little
it's ruining.
Again. Yeah,
it's so bad.
Sorry, I'm he's having a traumatic experience.
Well, it's like seeing those people, like people are just like hanging off these bridges, and like I'm like, how do you do this? Or like, just parkour in the top of New York City.
Yeah. Yeah,
crazy.
No, those videos stress me out.
Yeah, they stress me out so much.
Me out too. Yeah.
No, I'm not jumping over buildings.
So, would you rather? Let's bring a would you rather in here.
Back to prodding.
have 10 pet snakes, or live at the top of a mountain, but like at the very tippy top,
where I've got to face my fear of heights all the time. I think I'd have to go with the snakes. I think I could accommodate the snakes. Yeah, that's far less of a gut level reaction,
right?
Than the heights.
Okay, all right. Well, you're lucky, because I was going to add where you had to live on a patio that was hanging off of the mountain.
Yeah, there ain't that. No, it ain't happening. Yeah. I'm at that stage. If you're trying to make me do that, I'm unfriending you. That's it. It's out.
And every time you move, it shakes a little bit.
Oh, that would just be the worst.
Why have we went down this path? None of us are enjoying this. We just keep adding like flames to the fire for some reason.
All right, I'm taking us out of here. Onto one of the last ones.
Let's trust him.
In Todd, we trust.
I'm sweating right now.
Just from the anxiety.
Yeah, it's horrible.
All right. So this is In Todd We Trust. You seem like a man full of wisdom. So we ask at the end of every episode that Todd will leave the listener or the Todd Squad with one piece of advice. So the floor is yours.
Perfect. Well, I think I'll have to be true to form and say that it'd be to intentionally grow your leadership skills. It'll pay dividends in every area of your life if you do. And so best piece of advice I think I can give to any listener.
Awesome. Nice. And how can they intentionally grow their leadership?
Well, leadership is so complicated. It's such a big thing. So I think the easiest thing you can do is find a leader that, an author, somebody, my podcast, something like that speaks to leadership growth. And just find something that resonates with you where you're at right now, and just start to learn, listen. But the key there is not just to read a good book or listen to an audio or something like that, but ask yourself, how could you apply it? And then go back and say, okay, how did that work? Because that's where the learning happens. The rest of it beforehand is kind of good information, because we know we can have a lot of information that we don't necessarily use well in life. So the key is kind of saying, okay, how can I use what I just heard, what I just read, what I just talked about? How could I apply that in my leadership today, this week? And then go back and actually take a moment to evaluate how it went.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's something I like to think of too, I think we talked about all three today. I think you can learn from like books or podcasts, and then you find a model, like a role model or someone to follow as well. You learn from that, and then doing is a key part that kind of rounds all that out and pull all that together. And then you got some traction now.
Yeah. The doing part is the real difficult part for most people. Cause I've been there. I've delved into just authors and stuff that I really relate to. And but I'll pull stuff out of it. I'll have everything organized. I'll have a notebook where this, and this. And I just, it's hard keeping yourself accountable sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that key asking that question, how can I use this today? Like if you really want to get, good but tough on yourself, how can I use this today? And it doesn't have to be giant. It just has to be a tangible step. That's right. Most of the good lessons we learn, usually we try them multiple times before we really kind of start to get the click on them. So
right. And as you, like you said, if you make stuff that you can knock out quickly, you get that sense of accomplishment. So you feel like you're making progress.
Yeah. So too often we put too big of a goal for ourselves. Yeah, we make it really big instead of just taking some small kind of
Right.
micro steps, which usually actually produce better longer term.
Yeah. I think that's something a lot of people want to get better, but don't know how. And I think that's great advice to really at least get the ball rolling on it.
Mhm.
That's great.
I think that deserves a nod.
It's time to give a nod to Todd.
All right. Well, we really appreciate my new best friend. So, isn't that right? I believe we're
I think we're there.
Just mine.
Oh, just yours? Well, I think we're both. I think we're there for all three of us now.
Yeah, I think the conversation about the heights and snakes and everything brought us all together.
Yeah.
No, but once again, we really want to thank you, and we appreciate you coming on and explaining kind of how your life is, telling us about the life coaching, the mentoring, the stuff you're doing with the nonprofits. I think that's really awesome. And I think both of us we took a lot out of it, and we really appreciate you coming out.
Well, it's been a lot of fun to be here, and I really appreciate the invite.
Oh yeah, of course. And welcome back anytime.
That's good.
Do you have any websites or anything?
Yeah.
I know you brought up the podcast and everything.
Yeah, you can find my websites and podcasts all there at toddmacpherson.ca. That's an MAC for MacPherson, but toddmacpherson.ca is the easy way, or nnlpodcast.com.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll plug that into the show notes whenever the show is live, so people there'll be links available. People can access it easily.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But
check them out.
Yeah, check him out on Instagram as well. That's at Todd W. MacPherson. It's MAC. And while you're on Instagram, go ahead and give us a follow at the Toddcast Pod, and subscribe and review wherever you can find podcasts. If you're a Todd or know any Todds, slide into our DMs at the Toddcast Pod, or email us at thetodcastpod@gmail.com.
And with that, I'm Michael.
I'm Brad.
And he's Todd.
And he's Todd.
There it is.
There it is. That was a good time.
Yeah, that was fun. Thanks, guys.
That was awesome.